Somehow 2K only gave Damian Lillard a 75 loyalty, but today it's going down to 0. And anytime Dame's team is struggling, he is going to 1 out, and we're going to force a trade to the best team in the entire league. And the season got off to a rough start in Portland, so Dame is getting up and out of there and going to the Chicago Bulls. And he's going to be traded for the worst player on each team, so that way the team doesn't get any worse, and he has a great chance to compete for a ring. The Bulls ended up being a great team this year, and Lonzo Ball was the 6th man of the year. We saw LaVine, DeRozan, and Dame all average 20 plus, and that man Lonzo had to be carrying the defense. But in the first round, we were facing the Nets. It was an easy sweep. The second round, we had the Cleveland Cavaliers, and that series went to 7 games, but we were able to get up and out of there. And in game 7, DeRozan, Dame, and LaVine were all really good. In the conference finals, we had the Miami Heat. It was a back and forth series that also ended up going to game 7. And in game 7, we were once again able to prevail to go to the NBA Finals and face the New Orleans Pelicans. This Pelicans team is tough. They're a great 2K team, so we have a tough matchup ahead of us. It's back and forth at the start. We take a 3-2 lead in the series, and we're able to win in 6 games as Dame gets a ring and a Finals MVP. This no loyalty stuff is paying off, and that's exactly why Dame decides to leave Chicago. He's going to his hometown Golden State Warriors after the season because DeRozan ends up regressing in 2K, and Lillard knows that, so he's headed out of Chicago, but the Warriors are struggling, so Dame's gone out of there. We are going to the Denver Nuggets. The Nuggets are off to a great start to the season, and this looks like a stacked team once you add Dame into the equation. We end up winning over 50 games. Jokic is MVP, and as you can see, Dame was really good. Oh, that rhyme, that was tough. But Dame was really good. He averaged over 20 points per game. We win the first round against LA in 5 games. Now we've got the Pelicans, and we're down in the series. We're down 3-1, and we end up losing in 5. Dame upped his production in the playoffs, but it wasn't enough. And that's exactly why he wants out, to join the NBA champion New Orleans Pelicans. So he's headed there. He's going to be traded for their worst player, and we're going to have a stacked roster on our hands in New Orleans. Also, I have no idea if I changed some setting, but somehow players were making a ton of money. As you can see, that 74 overall was making over $30 million a year. But Dame is reunited with CJ, and it's more of a balanced scoring attack this year, as Dame only averages over 15 a game, but we still won 50 games on the season, a successful year. And we end up getting out of the first round in just 4 games, and we're facing LA. They've got a completely different roster in this simulation, and it's a competitive series. We end up going to game 7, and we can't win. We lose by just 4 points as the Lakers are able to squeeze out a win. Dame was good in the playoffs, but it wasn't enough. So now he's headed to LA, who somehow added Victor Wembanyama. I don't know what was going on in the simulation, but he was out of San Antonio after 2 years. This looks like a super team. There's no reason we shouldn't win the ring. Also, the Pelicans were thriving without Dame. They had the 6th man of the year and the most improved player. Damian Lillard averaged similar numbers to last season as we're headed to the NBA playoffs. We beat Phoenix in an easy 4-game sweep, and then we take on the Houston Rockets, who beat us in a gentleman's sweep. Dame's numbers were up again for the playoffs, but it's time for him to leave LA despite the fact that they have Wembanyama. The Rockets are obviously better as they just won the championship. So now Dame is joining another stacked roster. Hopefully he can get a ring this time. His numbers are way down, and with his overall rapidly decreasing, this might be one of his last chances to win a ring. We easily get out of the first round in 5 games, and we've got a game 7 against New Orleans. We barely pull out the game 7 victory, winning by 8 points as Damian Lillard continues to be a playoff performer. In the conference finals, we have the Los Angeles Lakers. They've got Wembanyama, and we end up going to another game 7. This time we win by just 1 point as Dame has 7 points and 7 assists in the game 7. That was really corny, I'm sorry. But in the NBA Finals, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers, and once again, we've got a Game 7. I forgot to simcast, we lost, and Darius Garland was Finals MVP. Dame had a solid playoff run, but was bad in Game 7, and then he kind of just fizzled out of the league. He wanted too much money, nobody was willing to sign him, and he ended up retiring. At least he was able to get a ring. That's it for the video. Have a great day. Be sure to like and subscribe.